Hey, second period, it's Miss Butler. This week we're studying the animal kingdom. So as cells of most animals develop, they get differentiated, which means they turn into specialized cells that do specific jobs. These specialized cells get organized into tissues. And remember, a tissue is a group of cells that do the same job. Complex animals, like people, have tissues that combine to form organs and organ systems. For example, you are a complex animal. You have organ systems like the digestive system. That includes all the tissues and organs, including your mouth, your stomach, your intestines, and your anus. So muscle cells in complex animals can form muscle tissue, and that tissue makes up organs like your stomach, which is part of an organ system, like the digestive system. So animals can be divided based on their body symmetry. The bodies of most animals have some type of symmetry. One type of body symmetry is radial symmetry, like this sea anemone. Everything is arranged in the body plan of the anemone, so it radiates from a central point, like a circle. The most successful animal groups have what's called bilateral symmetry. You have bilateral symmetry, and so does this lobster. A single plane divides the bilateral symmetry into left and right sides that are mirror images. So this lobster has one line or one plane that makes a left side and a right side that are almost exactly the same. Very few animals have asymmetry, which means no symmetry at all. One type of animal that has no body symmetry is a sea sponge. They don't have any matching sides or matching parts. So here are some common animal characteristics for your study this week. Animals, remember, are multicellular. They're eukaryotic. They have to find their own food, so they're heterotrophic. They don't have cell walls, and they can move at some point in their life. There are some animals as adults that cannot move from their location, and you'll study that this week. So the animal kingdom is divided into 9 major phyla. Phyla is plural for phylum. So a phylum is a category that comes after a kingdom. So the animal kingdom gets divided into phyla or phylums. And so these are the 9 major phyla we're going to study this week. Cnidaria, which is like jellyfish, platyhelminthes, which are flatworms, nematodes, which are roundworms, mollusks, that's like your snails and your slugs, annelids, which are segmented worms like earthworms, arthropods, which are insects, bugs, spiders, echinoderms, which are like sea stars, they have spiny skin, chordata, which is animals that have a notochord. This includes vertebrates, and then sponges, which are in the phylum Porifera. There's more phyla than this, but these are the 9 major phyla. So Porifera, these are sea sponges. They're only found in the water. They're the simplest phylum of animals. Cnidaria, it's spelled with a C, but you pronounce it Cnidaria. These are animals that have stinging tentacles, like sea jellies. Some people call them jellyfish, but they're not fish. So sea jellies, sea anemones, these are cnidarians. Platyhelminthes are flatworms. Some are parasites. That means they cause harm to a host. They have bilateral symmetry, pretty complex tissues. They have little brains and nerves. Nematodes are roundworms. Some of these are parasites too, and they have a brain and a digestive system. If you've ever heard of hookworms or pinworms, these are nematodes. Mollusks are another phylum of animals. These organisms have soft bodies. Sometimes they have a hard shell. They have simple organ systems. This is like your clams, your octopus, your snails, your slugs. Annelids are segmented worms like earthworms. They're pretty complex. They have a digestive system, a circulatory system. Arthropods, these are your insects, your bugs, your spiders, your ticks. These are animals that have jointed appendages. That means legs that can bend. They have an exoskeleton and they'll shed it whenever they need to grow larger. This is the biggest phylum of animals. There are a lot of different species of arthropods. Echinoderms are pretty cool. They have bumpy spiny skin, which is what echinodermata means in Latin. They have radial symmetry where they're arranged like a circle. Simple digestive systems. The sea stars are really cool. They can actually poke their stomachs out of their body to eat their food. And these are animals that can regenerate. If a sea star loses a limb, it can grow one back. Chordata, the phylum Chordata, are chordates. Most of these animals have internal skeletons and spinal cords. You, as an animal, belong to the phylum Chordata. They're called chordates because they all have a notochord at some point in their life. Examples would be fish, amphibians, reptiles, mammals. Really unusual chordates called sea squirts, lancelets, and tunicates. And don't forget your birds. Chordates have a notochord, which is a flexible rod that extends down the length of the body. If chordates are vertebrates like you, this flexible rod disintegrates and it kind of turns into your spinal column and your backbone. If a chordate is an invertebrate, this flexible notochord just becomes their skeleton on the inside.